In the vast, unforgiving expanse of the asteroid belt frontier, where the sun's light filtered through clouds of cosmic dust like a distant memory, Cole Anders gripped the controls of his mining rig with calloused hands. It was 2314 CE, and humanity had long since turned these rocky orphans of the solar system into a gritty frontier of opportunity and isolation. Cole was a man forged in that isolation, rugged, broad-shouldered, with a beard streaked in gray from years of breathing recycled air and dodging micrometeorites. His eyes, sharp and weary, scanned the holographic display of his rig, the Iron Mule, as it clawed into the side of asteroid 47 Kappa, a hulking mass of nickel and iron that promised a decent payday if he could extract enough ore before his oxygen reserves dipped too low. The belt was a place where men like Cole came to escape the crowded megacities of Earth and Mars, where politics and bureaucracy felt as distant as the stars themselves. He wasn't one for grand speeches or diplomatic handshakes. His world was torque wrenches, plasma cutters, and the low hum of life support systems. Faith, for Cole, wasn't something preached in cathedrals. It was the quiet certainty that kept him going through the long shifts, a subtle thread woven into the fabric of his survival. He'd mutter a prayer under his breath when a drill bit snapped or a solar flare threatened to fry his electronics, not because he expected miracles, but because it reminded him there was order in this chaotic void, something bigger than the cold equations of space. Today started like any other. The Iron Mule shuddered as its mechanical arms bit deeper into the asteroid's crust, sending vibrations up through Cole's boots. He wiped sweat from his brow, the suit's cooling system struggling against the heat buildup from the rig's engines. "Come on, you stubborn rock," he grumbled to himself, his voice rough like gravel underfoot. The comms panel blinked lazily. No messages from the mining guild, no chatter from nearby haulers, just the endless silence of space, punctuated by the occasional ping of a sensor alert. Then, without warning, the sensors screamed to life. Proximity alarm blared, red lights flashing across the cockpit. Cole's heart skipped a beat, not from fear, but from the sheer annoyance of it. What now? Another damn pirate drone. He punched up the external cameras, expecting to see some scavenged bot sniffing around his claim. Instead, his jaw tightened as the feed revealed something impossible. A sleek, iridescent vessel descending toward the asteroid's surface, its hull shimmering like liquid mercury under the faint sunlight. It wasn't human tech, no blocky thrusters or utilitarian design. This was alien, elegant in a way that made Cole's rig look like a rusty tin can. He stared, his mind racing through the possibilities. First contact, he'd heard the rumors back on the guild stations, whispers of signals from beyond the Uit cloud, government scrambling to prepare diplomatic envoys. But out here, on a forsaken rock in the belt, Cole chuckled dryly, shaking his head. Figures. The universe decides to drop by when I'm elbow deep in ore. He keyed the comms, broadcasting on all frequencies. "This is Cole Anders on asteroid 47 Kappa. If you're looking for a welcome party, you're about 1 billion clicks off course. State your business or shove off, I've got work to do." No response. The alien ship touched down lightly, barely disturbing the regolith, and a ramp extended from its underbelly. Cole watched as figures emerged, tall, slender beings in form-fitting suits that glowed with bioluminescent patterns. They moved with an unnatural grace, their limbs elongated, heads crested with what looked like crystalline antennae. There were 3 of them, carrying what might have been scanners or weapons. Cole couldn't tell. His hand hovered over the rig's emergency flare launcher, not much of a defense, but it could buy him time if things went south. He suited up quickly, sealing his helmet with a hiss of pressurized air, and stepped out onto the asteroid's surface. Gravity was minimal, so he mag-locked his boots to the rock, each step a deliberate clunk. The aliens approached, stopping a respectful distance away. One of them, presumably the leader, raised a limb in what Cole guessed was a greeting. A voice emanated from a translator device, synthetic and echoing. "We are the Zorvath Collective. We come in peace to initiate formal contact with the representatives of Terra." Cole blinked behind his visor, processing the words. "Representatives? Him?" He let out a bark of laughter that echoed in his helmet. "Peace, huh? Well, that's a relief. Name's Cole. I'm no rep, just a miner trying to make quota. You folks got the wrong rock. Earth's that way." He jerked a thumb over his shoulder toward the distant blue speck. The aliens exchanged glances, or what passed for glances among their kind. Their antennae flickered with light, perhaps communicating silently. The leader stepped forward. "You are not the designated emissary. Our scans indicated this as a primary human outpost." "Outpost?" Cole snorted, gesturing at the Iron Mule behind him. "This here's my rig. I dig rocks, haul ore, and try not to die from radiation. If you're looking for suits and ties, try Luna Base or something." He crossed his arms, the suit's fabric creaking. Deep down, a flicker of awe stirred in him, not just at the aliens, but at the sheer improbability of it all. How had they found him first? Was it chance or something more? He pushed the thought aside. Philosophy could wait for beer o'clock. The Zorvath seemed unsettled, their bioluminescence pulsing erratically. This is irregular. Our protocols require engagement with authoritative figures. You must summon them. Cole's patience, already thin from a long shift, frayed further. Summon. Buddy, out here, the only thing I summon is a tow when my engine craps out. You landed on my claim, uninvited, I might add, so either state your piece or get gone. I've got deadlines. Tension hung in the vacuum like static electricity. One of the aliens scanned Cole with a device, its beam sweeping over his suit. Anomaly detected. Subject exhibits elevated cortisol levels, indicative of aggression. Aggression? Cole raised an eyebrow. That's just me being polite. You try working 16 hours straight on protein paste and recycled water. He took a step forward, not threatening but firm. The aliens recoiled slightly, their suits emitting a faint hum, perhaps a shield activating. The leader's translator crackled. We detect no fleet presence. Are you alone? Alone as they come, Cole replied, a hint of pride in his voice. Humans like him thrived in solitude, turning the belt's dangers into routine. There was more to it, a quiet faith that even in the void, he wasn't truly isolated. He'd survived too many close calls to believe it was all luck. What's it to you? The Zorvath huddled, their lights flashing in rapid patterns. Cole caught snippets from the translator. Primitive, yet defiant. Potential threat, he sighed, rubbing the back of his neck through the suit. This was escalating, and he hadn't even had his coffee break. As misunderstandings brewed, Cole felt a pang of internal conflict. Part of him wanted to radio for help, play it safe. But another part, the stubborn miner in him, bristled at the intrusion. Who were these outsiders to demand representatives? Humanity had clawed its way to the stars through grit and ingenuity, not fancy protocols. And deep down in the silence of space, he sensed a greater hand at work, guiding this bizarre encounter towards some purpose. The alien straightened, the leader addressing him again. We require demonstration of your species' capabilities. Prove you are worthy of alliance. Cole laughed outright. Worthy? All right, fine, watch this. He turned back to the iron mule, firing up the plasma cutter with a roar that vibrated through the rock. He sliced into a nearby boulder, sparks flying in the low gravity like fireworks. The aliens watched, their antennae quivering. To Cole, it was just clearing debris. To them, it looked like a weapon of raw power. One alien whispered, translator catching. Such casual destruction. He wields fire as a tool. Cole shut off the cutter, turning back. There, that's what I do. Now you gonna tell me why you're really here, or do I need to show you the drill? The Zorvath backed up a step, their composure cracking. In their eyes, this grease-covered human wasn't a miner. He was a force of nature, defying the stars with bare hands and unyielding will. And as Cole stood there, silhouetted against the asteroid's jagged horizon, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was no accident. Somewhere in the infinite design of the universe, a quiet intelligence had orchestrated this meeting, testing not just the aliens, but humanity's spirit. But as the aliens raised their devices, scanning more aggressively, Cole's hand drifted toward his tool belt. The first contact was collapsing, not with fleets or fanfare, but with one ordinary man's zero tolerance for nonsense. And in the shadows of the asteroid, a faint solar flare danced across the sky, as if the cosmos itself was watching, waiting for the spark. Cole Anders stood firm on the craggy surface of asteroid 47 Kappa, his mag boots anchoring him as the Zorvath Collective's delegation hovered in uneasy formation before him. The alien ship's ramp remained open, a maw of glowing interior that hinted at technologies beyond human comprehension. Cole's mind raced, piecing together the absurdity of the situation. First contact, the event governments had prepped for with simulations, protocols, and polished speeches, and it lands on his doorstep. He wasn't trained for this. His expertise was in core samples and equipment maintenance, not interstellar diplomacy. Yet here he was, representing humanity by default, his grease-streaked suit a far cry from the crisp uniforms of Earth's envoys. The leader of the Zorvath, whom Cole mentally dubbed Glowstick for the pulsing lights on its crest, extended a limb again. The translator's voice, now tinged with a synthetic warble, echoed in Cole's helmet. Your demonstration of fire manipulation is noted, but we require assurance of non-hostility. Our scans show you possess no advanced armaments, yet your demeanor suggests combat readiness. Cole's lips curled into a wry smile behind his visor. Combat readiness. That's just how I look after a double shift. You folks scan everything. Kinda rude, don't you think? He shifted his weight, the low gravity making the movement feel like floating. Inside, a knot of frustration tightened. He wasn't hostile, but their probing felt invasive, like they were dissecting him without permission. Faith whispered in the back of his mind, a reminder that patience was a virtue, even when dealing with glowing space elves. He'd seen enough wonders in the belt to believe in a grand design, one where even this mess had meaning. The aliens conferred, their bioluminescent patterns flashing like a light show at a guild party. One of them, smaller than the others, pointed a device at the iron mule. Primitive machinery, yet efficient. Subject maintains solitude in harsh environment, indicative of resilience or exile. Exile? Cole echoed, his voice sharpening. Listen, I chose this life. Beat sittin' in some office on Mars Arguin over tariffs. Out here, a man's got room to think, to breathe. He paused, glancing at the stars overhead. The belt was a tapestry of twinkling lights, remnants of creation's forge. Sometimes in the quiet, he'd stare at them and feel a profound connectedness, as if an unseen architect had placed each one with purpose. This ain't exile, it's freedom. Glowstick tilted its head. Freedom, our collective thrives on unity. Solitude breeds chaos, you are. An anomaly, Cole chuckled, the sound low and genuine. Anomaly, huh, that's a new one. Back home, they'd call me stubborn. He took a step closer, testing their reaction. The aliens tensed, their suits humming louder. Tension built like a storm in the vacuum, invisible but palpable. Cole's internal conflict surged. Part of him wanted to de-escalate, invite them in for a chat over synthetic coffee. But another part, the miner who'd fought off claim jumpers and survived hull breaches, stood his ground. Humans didn't back down, they adapted, innovated, endured. To break the standoff, Cole gestured toward his rig. Come on, let's not stand out here, Jowan. I'll show you around. Maybe that'll prove I'm not some war machine. He turned, mag boots clunking toward the iron mule's airlock, assuming they'd follow. They did hesitantly, their graceful strides contrasting his heavy plod. Inside the rig, the airlock cycled with a whoosh, pressurizing the cramped cabin. Cole removed his helmet, revealing a face etched with lines from laughter and hardship. The aliens entered, their suits adapting to the atmosphere with a shimmer. The cabin was a mess of tools, ration packs, and flickering screens, a lived-in space that smelled of oil and sweat. Glowstick's antennae quivered. This vessel, it is your domicile. Home sweet home, Cole replied, slumping into his pilot's chair. He offered a ration bar. Hungry? It's food. The alien declined with a polite wave. As they observed, the smaller Zorvath scanned a console. Energy signatures minimal, no weapons detected, yet subject survives extremes. Cole leaned back, crossing his arms. Survival's what we do. Humans, I mean, we've been scratching out of living in places like this for centuries. Tech helps, but it's grit that gets you through. He thought of his last close call, a micrometeor storm that punched holes in the hull. Patched it while praying silently, feeling a surge of calm that let him focus. Not luck, he believed, guidance. The leader pressed on. Our mission is to assess Terra's worth for Alliance. You must contact your hierarchy. Cole sighed, rubbing his temples. Hierarchy, out here, that's me. Comms are spotty, solar interference. But fine, I'll try. He keyed the long-range transmitter, broadcasting a message to the nearest guild station. This is Anders on 47 Kappa. Got some visitors, non-human. Send the suits if you can. Static answered. See, universe has a sense of humor. The aliens exchanged flashes. Humor, an emotional construct, intriguing. As minutes stretched, misunderstandings piled up. Cole casually mentioned fixing a leak with duct tape, and the Zorvath interpreted it as alchemical mastery. When he joked about blowing the rock to kingdom come if yields were low, they took it as a threat of planetary destruction. Their scans picked up his elevated heart rate from excitement, not aggression, and they whispered of warrior physiology. Cole sensed the shift, their postures growing rigid. Internal doubt gnawed at him. Was he botching this? Should he be more formal? But no, honesty was his way, a human trait that had saved lives more than once. Empathy stirred. These aliens seemed as out of their depth as he was. Suddenly, an alarm blared, asteroid instability from his earlier cutting. The rig shook, rocks tumbling outside. Hold on, Cole yelled, strapping in. The aliens panicked, lights flaring chaotically. In the chaos, Cole stabilized the rig with quick commands, his hands a blur. To the Zorvath, it looked like commanding the elements. As the shaking subsided, Glowstick stared. You tamed the quake. Just engineering, Cole said modestly. But inside, he thanked that quiet presence for steady nerves. The aliens huddled. This being is no mere laborer. His casual defiance. He must be a warlord concealing power. Cole overheard via the translator, his eyes widening. Warlord me? You've got it all wrong. But the seed was planted. Tension escalated, the aliens edging toward the airlock. Cole's heart pounded, first contact teetering on disaster because of one miner's bluntness. And as the rig hummed back to life, a distant star twinkled brighter, as if affirming that even in misunderstanding, purpose unfolded. The cabin of the Iron Mule felt smaller with the Zorvath inside, their ethereal presence clashing with the rig's utilitarian clutter. Cole Anders leaned against a bulkhead, arms folded, watching as the aliens processed the recent quake. His mind churned with a mix of amusement and exasperation. Warlord, the word echoed in his thoughts like a bad joke from a guild bar. He'd spent his life avoiding power plays, preferring the honest toil of mining to the cutthroat politics of corporate boards. Yet here in the eyes of these starfarers, his everyday toughness painted him as some galactic conqueror. Glowstick, the leader, composed itself, antennae steadying. Your control over environmental hazards suggests strategic acumen. Explain your rank within Terra's command structure. Cole ran a hand through his beard, stifling a laugh. Rank, I'm a grade 3 extractor with the Belt Miners Guild. My command is over this rig and whatever ore I can haul. He gestured at the flickering screens showing resource readouts. See, no armies, no fleets, just me, the rocks, and a prayer now and then that it all holds together. The smaller alien tilted its head. prayer, a ritual for summoning aid. Cole paused, choosing his words. Faith wasn't something he broadcasted, but it felt natural here amid the wonders. Sorta. It's talking to the one who made all this, the stars, the asteroids, us, keeps me grounded. He glanced out the porthole at the endless void, feeling that vast intelligence, subtle and merciful, balancing the chaos. The Zorvath's lights dimmed thoughtfully. A divine entity, our collective acknowledges no such hierarchy. Logic governs all. Logic's great, Cole replied, but it don't explain why I'm still breathin' after all these years. Call it faith, call it gut, it's real. Empathy flickered in him. These beings seemed so ordered, yet lost without their protocols. They delved deeper, misunderstandings snowballed. Cole described human history, wars, explorations, triumphs, and the aliens latched onto the conflicts. You speak of conquests with pride. This aligns with warlord behavior. No, that's not, Cole started, but an incoming transmission cut him off. Static crackled, then a voice from the guild station. Anders, we got your message. Aliens, you pullin' my leg. Fleet's en route, ETA 2 hours. Sit tight. Cole grinned. See, helps common. Now let's kill time. Want to see how we mine? Reluctantly, they agreed. Cole suited up again, leading them outside. The asteroid's surface glittered under the sun, dust motes dancing in low gravity. He fired up the drill arm, its whine piercing the silence. Chips of rock flew and Cole whooped. That's the stuff, the Zorvath observed, scanners whirring. When a chunk nearly hit one, Cole swatted it away casually. Close one, gotta watch the debris. To them, it was superhuman reflex. Deflects projectiles with ease, the translator murmured. Internal conflict brewed in Cole. He saw their fear, their awe, and felt a pang of responsibility. Humans weren't monsters, they were survivors, creative and compassionate, but his bluntness fueled the fire. Tension rose as the aliens questioned his domain. This asteroid is at your territory. Mine for the duration of the claim, Cole said. Guild rules. Claim by force, Glowstick pressed. By work, Cole corrected, frustration mounting. A sensor pinged another ship approaching. No, a rogue fragment from the quake. It hurtled toward them. Cole shoved the nearest alien aside, the impact jarring his suit. They tumbled in slow motion, mag boots disengaging. Grab hold, Cole yelled, activating his thrusters to stabilize. The Zorvath, disoriented, flailed. In their panic, one activated a device, a force field that repelled the fragment but sent shockwaves rippling. Cole grunted, pain shooting through his arm. Easy there. They regrouped, the alien's lights frantic. He sacrificed for us, or a ploy to demonstrate dominance. Cole winced, clutching his arm. No ploy, just helpin'. But the twist deepened their view, this human, alone and relentless, embodying defiance. As the fleet's ETA ticked down, Cole pondered the divine irony, one man's ordinary day reshaping history. And in the distance, a comet streaked by, a silent reminder that mercy often came unannounced. With the asteroid stabilized and the Zorvath warily observing, Cole Anders retreated to the Iron Mule's cabin to nurse his bruised arm. The pain was sharp but familiar, like the aches from countless shifts. He popped a painkiller from the medkit, washing it down with recycled water that tasted faintly metallic. The aliens remained outside, their ship a sentinel on the horizon, but Glowstick followed him in, its presence filling the space with an otherworldly hum. You endured injury to protect us, the leader noted, translator calm but probing. Why? Cole shrugged, wincing. Seemed right, can't have guests gettin' squashed on my watch. Empathy was second nature to him, a human trait that had built alliances in the Belt's rough communities. But beneath it, faith-guided, treat others as you'd want, even if they're glowing strangers. Glowstick's antennae flickered. Such acts imply loyalty, yet you claim no authority. I'm just me, Cole said, leaning back. Humans look out for each other, and apparently aliens too. He thought of his family back on Earth, the letters he sent sporadically, filled with tales of the stars. They prayed for him and he for them, a thread connecting across the void. As they waited for the fleet, Cole shared stories of humanity's push to space, the ingenuity that turned barren rocks into homes. The Zorvath listened, but twisted his words. When he mentioned overcoming famines with synthetic farms, they saw it as resource domination. Your species adapts through force, Glowstick concluded. Through smarts, Cole countered, tension building. His internal struggle intensified. How to bridge this gap? A scan alarm blared, the alien's ship detecting something. Incoming vessels, your reinforcements, Cole checked. Yeah, the cavalry, but the Zorvath tensed, interpreting it as an ambush. Warlord summons his horde, the translator whispered. No, wait, Cole protested. The fleet arrived, ships dotting the sky. Misunderstandings peaked as the Zorvath raised shields. Cole stood between, defiant. Stand down, this is peace. But the damage was done. One miner's courage had sparked awe and fear. And as ships hovered, a solar wind whispered through, carrying hints of greater order. Cole Anders stood in the cramped cockpit of the Iron Mule, his bruised arm throbbing under the suit's compression sleeve as he watched the human fleet materialize against the starfield. What had started as a solitary mining shift had ballooned into a galactic standoff, and the weight of it pressed on him like the asteroid's unyielding gravity. The Zorvath ship hummed with escalating energy signatures, its shields flickering to life in iridescent waves that distorted the regolith beneath it. Cole's breath fogged the inside of his visor momentarily before the suit's recyclers cleared it. He wasn't a diplomat, wasn't even an officer, just a man who'd fixed leaks with spit and prayers, but now every eye in the system was on him. Their powering weapons, Glowstick's translator, crackled from the comms link, the alien leader's voice laced with synthetic alarm. The Zorvath had retreated to their vessel after the fragment incident, but their scanners continued probing relentlessly. Your horde arrives. This confirms our assessment. You are a warlord consolidating forces. Cole slammed a fist on the console, the impact jarring his injury. Horde, that's the Belt Miners Guild and a couple Navy scouts. They're here to talk, not fight. Frustration boiled in his chest, hot and familiar, the same fire that had driven him through hull breaches and claim disputes. But beneath it, doubt crept in, an internal serpent whispering that maybe he had botched this. What if his blunt honesty had painted humanity as barbarians? What if one miner's impatience doomed first contact? He glanced at the small crucifix pendant dangling from the rearview mirror, a relic from his mother. Help me say the right thing, he thought silently, not expecting an answer but feeling a subtle calm settle like the quiet after a storm. Outside, the human ships, blocky haulers retrofitted with railguns and sleek corvettes, formed a loose perimeter around asteroid 47 Kappa. Captain Alina Vasquez's voice cut through the comms. Anders, this is Vanguard Actual. We've got your sitrep. Aliens confirmed on visual. Stand by for boarding teams. Do not engage. Copy that, Cole replied, his voice steady despite the chaos in his mind. He patched the channel to the Zorvath. Hear that, boarding teams for talking. Put your toys away before someone gets twitchy. The aliens didn't comply. Instead, their ship broadcast a wide-band signal, a pulsating wave of light and sound that made Cole's rig shudder. Alarms wailed as the Iron Mule systems glitched, holographic displays flickering life support hiccuping. What the hell was that? Cole growled, rerouting power manually with practiced hands. Sparks danced from a panel and he batted them away, the acrid smell of ozone filling his helmet. Glowstick's response came terse. Defensive measure. Your fleet encroaches on sovereign space. Warlord Anders, declare your intent or face collective judgment. Cole laughed bitterly, the sound echoing hollowly. Sovereign space, you parked on my claim. He suited up fully, grabbing his toolkit not for fighting but for fixing whatever mess this became. As he cycled the airlock, he caught his reflection in the polished bulkhead, grease-smeared face, eyes burning with defiance. Humans weren't conquerors by nature. They were builders, survivors who turned voids into homes. But to these aliens, his resilience looked like ruthlessness. Stepping onto the surface, Cole Mag locked and strode toward the Zorvath ship, human shuttles descending like metallic falcons behind him. Guild miners in patch suits spilled out, tools in hand more than weapons, their faces a mix of awe and wariness. Vasquez, a wiry woman with a commander's stripe on her shoulder, met him halfway. Anders, you crazy son of a bitch. First contact, and you invite him to your trailer. Didn't invite, Cole grunted. They crashed the party. He nodded toward the alien vessel, now ringed by a faint energy barrier. They're spooked, think I'm some kingpin. Vasquez's eyes narrowed. Our scans show their weapons hot, we can't let them dictate terms. Tension coiled like a spring. Cole's mind raced, diplomacy by committee would take hours, and misunderstandings were piling up faster than regolith. Give me 5 minutes, alone, she hesitated. That's against protocol. Protocol's got us this far, Cole shot back, his voice low. Internal conflict raged, obedience or instinct. Faith tipped the scale. Sometimes you had to trust the path laid out even if it looked insane. Trust me, Vasquez relented with a curt nod. Cole approached the barrier alone, the ground crunching under his boots. The Zorvath ship's ramp lowered slightly, Glowstick emerging flanked by 2 guards, their limbs ending in energy-laced gauntlets. You approach without escort, the leader noted, antennae pulsing warily. Boldness of command. Cole stopped short of the barrier, hands open. Not command, just talkin'. Look, your scan fuzz fried my rig, I fixed it, see? He held up a salvaged circuit board, sparks still glowing faintly. Humans improvise, we don't quit. The aliens' lights flickered in what might have been confusion. One guard scanned the board, repurposed wreckage into functionality. Efficient, predatory adaptation. No predation, Cole insisted, empathy surging. He saw their fear now, structured beings thrust into chaos by one unpredictable human. We're like you, explorers, but we got heart. When the odds stack up, we dig deeper. Glowstick tilted its crest. Your words claim peace, yet your fleet bears arms of annihilation. Defensive, Cole countered. Space is rough. Pirates, rocks, radiation, you name it. He paused, glancing at the stars. A meteor shower streaked overhead, brief and beautiful. See that? Universe throws curveballs. We learned to swing back. The aliens conferred silently, but the standoff held. Then a human shuttle misjudged its landing in the low gravity, skidding across the regolith and slamming into a boulder. Debris flew and a miner tumbled free, suit breached. Instinct took over. Cole sprinted, thrusters firing in bursts. He reached the man, sealing the breach with emergency foam from his belt. "Breathe easy, Ramirez, I got you." The miner gasped, alive. Cole dragged him to safety, ignoring the pain in his arm. The Zorvath watched, transfixed. To them, this was no accident. It was calculated valor, a warlord risking for his troops. Vasquez's voice barked over comms. "Anders, get back, they're charging weapons." Cole looked up. The Zorvath ship glowed brighter, energy building. Glowstick's translator boomed. "Demonstration accepted. The Warlord of Terra reveals his ferocity. We withdraw to assess threat level." "Wait." Cole shouted, standing protectively over Ramirez. But the ramp closed, the ship lifting with graceful acceleration, leaving a crater of scorched rock. The human fleet held fire, stunned. Vasquez jogged over. "What did you do?" "Nothing," Cole muttered, helping Ramirez up. "Just was me." But inside, victory tasted bittersweet. He'd saved a life, shown humanity's soul, yet the aliens fled in terror. Doubt gnawed deeper. Was this how first contact ended, with fear? As the Zorvath ship vanished into the black, Cole knelt, retrieving a shard of alien metal from the ground. It hummed faintly in his palm, warm against the cold void. He closed his eyes briefly. Not luck, he thought. Someone wanted that man to live today. The fleet buzzed with chatter, but Cole felt the weight of eyes on him, not as a miner, but as something more. Word would spread. The lone human who stared down aliens and walked away unbroken. Yet in the comms logs, the Zorvath's final transmission lingered, distorted but clear. The warlord endures. Terra's shadow grows long. Fractured alliances hung by a thread, and Cole wondered if his defiance had forged a legend or ignited a war. And from the heart of the asteroid, a faint seismic rumble began, whispering of deeper threats. Cole Anders knelt in the disturbed regolith of asteroid 47 Kappa, the alien metal shard still warm in his gloved palm, its faint hum vibrating through his suit like a distant heartbeat. The Zorvath ship had vanished into the star-speckled void, leaving behind a stunned human contingent and the acrid scent of ionized air. Captain Vasquez's fleet hovered overhead, their running lights casting long shadows across the cratered surface, while guild miners clustered around the injured Ramirez, their faces pale behind visors smeared with dust. Cole's arm throbbed relentlessly now, a dull fire that matched the ache in his chest. He'd meant to bridge the gap, not widen it into a chasm. Warlord of Terra. The words mocked him, twisting his gritty survival into something monstrous. Anders, report. Vasquez's voice crackled over the command channel, sharp with urgency. She strode toward him, her boots kicking up plumes of fine particles that hung in the low gravity like ghosts. What the hell happened in there? They lit out like we were the plague. Cole rose slowly, pocketing the shard. His breath came steady, but inside the internal storm raged. Doubt clawed at him. Had his impatience doomed humanity's chance at alliance, or was this the universe's way of testing resolve? He glanced at the stars where the Zorvath had fled and felt that subtle presence again, not a booming voice, but a quiet order amid chaos, like the precise orbit of each asteroid in the belt. "Misunderstanding," he said finally, voice rough. "They saw me fix a rig, save a guy, and thought it was battle prowess. I'm no warlord, Cap, just a guy who doesn't quit." Vasquez eyed him, her expression a mix of exasperation and reluctant admiration. "Well, you're just a guy, act scared him off. High Command's gonna have a field day. Fleet's securing the site, get your rig prepped for tow. We're pulling out." But as she turned, the ground trembled. Not the familiar quiver of mining vibrations, but a deep, resonant groan that rippled through the rock. Alarms blared across every suit and ship, seismic activity off the charts. Cole's mag boots struggled to hold as cracks spiderwebbed outward from the Zorvath's landing site. "What fresh hell," he muttered, steadying himself. Sensors lit up, internal pressure building, gases venting. Asteroid 47 Kappa wasn't solid. Scans had missed a volatile core, destabilized by the aliens' landing thrusters and Cole's earlier drilling. "It's fracturing," a miner shouted. Panic rippled through the group as boulders the size of shuttles shifted, low-grav tumbling turning deadly. Vasquez barked orders. "Evacuate. All personnel to ships priority 1. Shuttles powered up, thrusters scorching the surface, but the quake intensified, swallowing one hauler in a yawning fissure. Screams echoed over comms as miners clung to debris, their suits' thrusters firing erratically. Cole's heart pounded, adrenaline sharpening his focus. No time for doubt, this was Monday in the belt, but with lives on the line. He spotted a cluster of guildies trapped near a collapsing ridge, their escape route blocked by a house-sized fragment hovering precariously. "Cap, I've got him. Cover me." "Anders, that's suicide," Vasquez protested. "Not today." He fired his suit's thrusters, soaring in controlled arcs toward the danger zone. The void around him was alive now, heart of the asteroid pulsing with released pressure, dust storms whipping like cosmic blizzards. Wind howled in his helmet from suit breaches, but Cole pushed on, his mind flashing to prayers whispered in quieter moments. "Keep him safe, keep us all safe." Not a demand, just a trust in the mercy woven into creation's fabric. Reaching the ridge, he mag-locked and assessed. 5 miners, suits damaged, oxygen ticking down. The fragment above teetered, ready to crush them. Hang on, I'm rigging a push. Cole yanked tools from his belt, plasma cutter, explosive charges from his mining kit, and a jury-rigged winch. No time for finesse, human ingenuity shown in crisis. He sliced into the rock face, carving anchor points while debris pelted him like hail. Sparks flew, illuminating terrified faces. Cole, it's gonna fall. One miner yelled, "Not if I say otherwise," he growled, defiance fueling him. Planting charges precisely, years of experience guiding his hands, he wired them to his suit's power cell. On my mark, thrusters full burn away from here. The team nodded, faith in him mirroring his own quiet belief. Detonation. The blast was controlled fury, a sharp crack, then the fragment lifted, propelled just enough by the explosion's force. Cole's winch engaged, hauling the miners one by one to safety as the ridge collapsed in slow-motion thunder. Rocks the size of cars floated past, missing them by meters. One clipped his shoulder, spinning him, but he corrected mid-air, grabbing the last man, a young kid named Tarek, by the arm. "You're crazy," Tarek gasped as they jetted back. "Nah," Cole replied, grinning through the pain. "Just human." They landed amid cheers from the evacuating fleet. Vasquez pulled him into a quick embrace, suit to suit. "You pulled a miracle, Anders." "Not me," he said softly, eyes on the fracturing asteroid. Geysers of gas erupted, painting the void in ethereal blues and golds, a momentary wonder amid destruction. Someone wanted us to live, but triumph soured fast. Long-range sensors pinged, the Zorvath ship returning, weapons hot. Their transmission boomed. "Warlord Anders, your cataclysm is a weapon of planetary devastation. The collective demands surrender." Cole stared at the tactical display projected on his HUD. The aliens had looped back, interpreting the quake as his doing, a deliberate show of power. Vasquez's bridge crew scrambled, railguns charging. "They're locking targets. Stand down." Cole overrode the channel, broadcasting wide. "It wasn't me. The rock was unstable. Your landing cracked it. We're evacuating." Silence, then Glowstick's voice. "Deception. No warlord admits weakness. Prepare for judgment." Tension peaked as Zorvath drones deployed, sleek orbs weaving through the debris field. Human corvettes fired warning shots, lasers carving glowing scars in the void. Cole's mind raced. Escalation meant war, all because of a miner's reputation. Internal conflict tore at him. Fight back and prove their fears right, or find another way. Inspiration struck. "Cap, give me the iron mule. I can stabilize the core by time. You're injured, rig's half fried. Won't know till I try." Faith surged, that unseen intelligence urging creativity over destruction. Vasquez relented, and Cole rocketed to his rig, the asteroid's heart rumbling like a dying beast. Docking amid shaking corridors, he plunged into engineering. Systems failed left and right, wires sparking, panels buckling. Sweat poured as he bypassed circuits, rerouting plasma vents to counter-pressure the core. "Come on, girl, hold together," he urged the iron mule, hands flying. It was madness, one man against a fracturing world. Outside, battle brewed, drones clashing with human point defense, explosions blooming like flowers. But Cole worked on, his defiance a beacon. Minutes stretched eternally, then a shudder and the quakes eased. Sensors stabilized, the core held if tenuously. He broadcast, "Zorvath, check your scans. It's calming because I fixed it, not destroyed it." Hesitation. Drones paused. Glowstick's voice returned, tinged with uncertainty. "Anomaly." Seismic activity subsiding. Explanation defies logic. "Not logic," Cole replied, emerging from his rig, silhouette against the settling dust. "Human stubbornness." The aliens hovered, reassessing. For the first time, awe edged out fear in their lights. But as truce teetered, a massive internal surge built anew, deeper, deadlier. And from the void's heart, a final groan echoed, heralding not salvation, but the asteroid's vengeful awakening in the dark. Cole Anders clung to the exterior of the iron mule, his mag boots locked onto the vibrating hull as asteroid 47 Kappa unleashed its final fury. The core stabilization had bought precious minutes, but now a deeper rumble built, a cataclysmic surge from the planetoid's heart, venting superheated gases and molten nickel in geysers that lit the void like volcanic veins. His suit's alarm screamed warnings, temperature critical, structural integrity failing. Sweat stung his eyes inside the helmet, mixing with the blood from a fresh gash on his forehead, where a loose panel had clipped him during the frantic repairs. The pain was a distant roar compared to the storm in his soul, defiance warring with exhaustion, faith anchoring him against the abyss. Through his HUD, the battle unfolded in fragmented glory, Zorvath drones darting like predatory fish, human corvettes weaving desperate evasions, laser fire stitching the darkness with crimson threads. Captain Vasquez's voice cut through the chaos on the command net. "Anders, get clear. That rock's going critical, evac window closing." Her tone held the steel of command, but Cole heard the undercurrent of fear, the human frailty that bound them all. "Not leaving till this is done," Cole grunted, fingers numb as he patched into the rig's external manipulators. The Zorvath ship loomed nearby, its elegant form scarred by glancing hits, holding position as if mesmerized by the spectacle. Glowstick's transmission pierced the din. Warlord, your world devours itself. Is this the full measure of Terra's wrath we bear witness? Cole's laugh was bitter, echoing in his helmet. Wrath, it's physics, you glowing bureaucrats. Your fancy landing cracked the egg, now it's hatchin'. Internal conflict clawed deeper. Part of him wanted to let the asteroid claim its due, teach these aliens the perils of uninvited drops. But no, humans didn't destroy without cause. They built, they saved, even enemies. Glancing at the crucifix pendant swinging wildly on its chain inside his cockpit, visible through a cracked porthole, he whispered, "One more push. Show 'em what we're made of." Not a plea, but an affirmation. In this vast design, mercy and ingenuity walked hand in hand. He overrode safety protocols, diverting the Iron Mule's fusion core to flood the drilling arms with plasma. The rig groaned in protest, but Cole piloted it forward, slamming the arms into fresh fissures like a surgeon sealing wounds. Sparks erupted in slow-motion cascades, illuminating the miner's shuttles scrambling for orbit. One guild hauler, the Deep Claim, lagged behind, engines stuttering from debris impacts. "Cole, we can't," its captain's voice broke. "Hold vector," Cole barked. With a surge of will, he maneuvered the rig between the hauler and a tumbling megaboulder, firing auxiliary thrusters to deflect it. The collision shook him to his bones, suit integrity dropping to 43%. Alarms wailed, but the hauler cleared, cheers flooding the comms. From the Zorvath bridge, unseen but felt through intercepted signals, the aliens observed in stunned silence. Their collective mind reeled, this solitary human, wounded and alone, commanding machinery against geological apocalypse. One subordinate's thought pulse translated faintly. He battles the planet itself, not for conquest but preservation. What manner of being defies the stars thus? Glowstick's response carried a tremor. Reevaluate primary directive. The Warlord may be something else. Cole had no time for their epiphany. A massive upwelling breached nearby, a fountain of plasma and rock erupting skyward, engulfing a Zorvath drone in fiery dissolution. The alien's ship banked sharply, shields flaring. In the confusion, Cole spotted opportunity. The eruption's force could be harnessed. "Vasquez, vector your heavies into a containment pattern. Use the gas plume for cover, I'll draw it." "Anders, you'll die," she shouted. Not planning on it. Faith burned brighter than the plasma. He'd survived worse because something greater willed it. He jetted the rig into the maelstrom, manipulators extended like claws. Guiding the arms, he channeled the upwelling, redirecting it into a feedback loop against the core fractures. It was raw genius born of belt-hardened instinct. Pressure met pressure, the asteroid's rage turned inward on itself. The void trembled, dust clouds billowed, reducing visibility to meters. Cole's world narrowed to HUD readouts in the rig's dying hum. Systems failed one by one, thrusters offline, power flickering. A chunk of superheated ore punched through the hull, venting atmosphere in a silent scream. Cole bit deep as his suit compensated, but he held course, hands locked on controls. This can't just be an accident, he thought, staring into the heart of the eruption. The precision of it all, the way the plasma bent to his will, felt like hands guiding his own. Then, revelation. The quakes peaked and reversed. Sensors showed the core resealing, fractures knitting under the induced implosion. The asteroid stabilized, its fury spent in a final, shuddering sigh. Dust settled like cosmic snowfall, revealing the tableau. Human fleet intact, Zorvath ship undamaged, miners safe. Cole slumped in the pilot's chair, breath ragged, rig adrift but whole. Vasquez's voice broke through. You did it, the rocks holding." "How?" "Stubbornness," he rasped, a weak grin forming, "and a little help from above." The Zorvath ship approached cautiously, ramp descending. Glowstick emerged alone, antennae dimmed in what Cole sensed as reverence. "Human, Anders, we misread your essence, not warlord, architect. You reshaped cataclysm into order." Cole removed his helmet, gulping stale air, blood trickling down his temple. "Told you, we don't break worlds, we fix 'em." Empathy softened his words. These aliens, so bound by logic, glimpsed humanity's soul, creative, relentless, compassionate. Glowstick extended a limb, not in threat, but offering. A data crystal materialized in Cole's palm, cool and pulsing. "Our archives, proof of your deed. The collective will know. Terra's strength is not in arms, but will." As humans gathered, Vasquez clasping Cole's shoulder, miners chanting his name, the first threads of alliance wove through the dust. High command transmissions flooded in, hailing the miracle of 47 Kappa. But Cole felt no glory, only quiet gratitude. He'd faced the void's heart and emerged, not by luck, but by the subtle justice of creation. Yet as the crystal's light danced in his hand, a faint anomaly registered on long-range scans, multiple Zorvath signatures inbound, not in peace. And in the settling dust, a miner's prayer rose softly, bridging worlds on the edge of revelation. Cole Anders sat slumped in the cockpit of the battered Iron Mule, the hum of stabilizing life support the only sound piercing the post-cataclysm silence. Blood crusted on his forehead, his bruised arm hung limp at his side, and exhaustion clawed at him like a claimed jumper in the dark. The asteroid had quieted, its fractured heart sealed by his desperate ingenuity, but victory felt hollow. Around him, the human fleet regrouped, shuttles ferrying miners to safety, corvettes patching hull breaches, while the Zorvath ship hovered like a luminous specter, Glowstick's data crystal still clutched in his fist. Its pulse synced with his heartbeat, a tangible bridge between worlds. For the first time, Cole saw understanding in the aliens' lights, a crack in their rigid logic, but deep in his gut, unease stirred. This wasn't over. Captain Vasquez's face appeared on the cracked viewscreen, her features etched with relief and strain. Anders, med teams are inbound. You look like hell. High Command's calling you a hero. First contact saved by a belt rat. Her voice softened. You saved us all. Cole managed a crooked smile, wincing as pain lanced through his ribs. Hero, just kept the rock from eating us. Get Ramirez and the others home. His eyes drifted to the starfield, where the belt's endless dance of debris caught the sunlight in fleeting glimmers. Faith settled over him like a worn blanket, not triumphant fanfare, but the quiet certainty that he'd been guided through the storm. Not luck, he thought, hands steadier than mine. The moral crystallized in his mind. Humanity's true power wasn't in fleets or protocols, but in the unyielding will to create order from chaos, to extend a hand even to strangers. Glowstick's translator chimed softly from the open channel. Architect Anders, our collective process is your actions. The data crystal encodes our apology and invitation. Join us in the Veil Nebula for formal accord. The alien's crest pulsed with uncharacteristic warmth. You have shown us the human spirit, defiant yet merciful. Before Cole could respond, long-range sensors erupted in frantic alerts. Vasquez's bridge crew shouted, multiple contacts, Zorvath signatures dozens, closing fast. Tactical displays bloomed with red icons, a swarm of angular vessels emerging from hyperspace folds like predators from the deep. Not the elegant scouts Cole knew, these were warships, hulls bristling with plasma lances and void torpedoes, their formations precise and merciless. Glowstick's lights flared in alarm. No, this is not our delegation. The High Enclave, purists who reject contact with lesser forms. They intercepted our transmission. They come to eradicate the Warlord threat. Cole's blood ran cold. The crystal's warmth turned to ice in his palm. Warlord again, damn it. Internal conflict surged like a solar flare. Run and preserve the fragile peace, or stand and shatter their illusions forever. Every fiber screamed exhaustion, but the miners' defiance, the same that had tamed the asteroid, rose unbidden. Humans didn't flee, they innovated, united, endured. He keyed the fleet-wide broadcast, voice steady despite the pain. All ships battle stations, but hold fire, this is our chance to end the myth. Vasquez protested. Anders were outnumbered 3-1. We can, he cut in, eyes locking on the incoming armada. And we will. Vasquez form a defensive sphere around the asteroid. Guild haulers, rig your mining lasers for point defense, overcharge them. I'll take point with the mule. Orders flew from his lips, born of belt skirmishes and raw instinct. Miners, no strangers to desperate scraps, responded with grim efficiency, their rigs transforming into makeshift fortresses. Zorvath purists broadcast a chilling ultimatum. Primitive aggressors of Terra, your warlord has corrupted our kin. Surrender him or face annihilation. The collective purges chaos. Drones launched in waves, sleek killers streaking toward the human lines. Cole ignited the Iron Mule's engines, the rig groaning as he jetted forward. His suit patched into the crystal, hijacking its signal to broadcast directly to the enemy fleet. This is Cole Anders. I'm no warlord, just a miner who fixed a rock you fools cracked. Glowstick here can vouch. Stand down or learn why humans own the belt. The purists ignored him, drones swarming. Battle ignited. Human corvettes unleashed railgun barrages, slugs punching through void shields in explosive blooms. Mining lasers, crude but powerful, vaporized drones in brilliant flares. Cole wove through the fray, the mule's manipulators snatching incoming torpedoes and hurling them back like cosmic discus throws. One blast rocked him, shearing off a solar panel, but he rolled the rig, firing plasma cutters into the breach. In the chaos, empathy fueled his resolve. He glimpsed Glowstick's ship shielding a damaged human shuttle, its weapons silent in solidarity. Fight with us, Cole urged over the link. The alien complied, lances carving through its own kind's drones, a betrayal that rippled through purist ranks, but the tide turned grim. A purist cruiser targeted the Iron Mule, its lance charging with apocalyptic light. Cole's rig shuddered, systems failing. Not like this, he growled, hands flying across controls. Inspiration struck the asteroid's volatile core, still warm from his repairs. Vasquez, all firepower on that cruiser's engines. Force it toward 47 Kappa. The fleet obeyed, a symphony of defiance. Slugs and lasers hammered the cruiser, driving it off course. Cole jetted alongside, using the mule's last reserves to latch on with manipulators. Time to mine something big. He triggered the rig's core dump, raw plasma flooding into the cruiser's vents. The enemy vessel buckled, venting atmosphere, then slammed into the asteroid's surface. Cataclysm reborn. The impact reignited subsurface fissures, but Cole had prepared for this. Remote charges from his earlier work detonated in sequence, channeling the blast upward in a directed plume. The cruiser disintegrated, the explosion's fury consuming half the purest drone swarm in a chain reaction of stellar fire. Silence fell. The remaining enemy ships hesitated, their formation fracturing. Glowstick broadcast, "Witness the architect, Terra's will bends even our might." The purists, logic shattered by the display, withdrew into hyperspace, transmissions fractured with doubt. Cheers erupted across human comms, but Cole sagged, the mule drifting lifeless. Vasquez's shuttle docked, medics pulling him free. "You turn the tide," she whispered, gripping his hand. "Couldn't have without you all," he murmured, eyes on the stars. The battle's light faded, revealing nebulae in hues of defiant gold. This can't just be accident, he thought, the divine order clear, justice through human hands, mercy and victory. High Command's hail confirmed it, truce offered, alliance forged. Cole Anders, the miner, had become legend. Yet as medics stabilized him, the data crystal flared with an urgent message. Purist remnants rallying beyond the system, a final gambit brewing. And against the defiant stars, one man's whisper rose. "We're not done yet." Cole Anders lay strapped to a med bay gurney aboard the Vanguard's flagship, the sterile hum of auto surgeons knitting his wounds with nanite precision. IV drips fed him fluids that tasted like chemical victory, and painkillers dulled the fire in his ribs and arm to a manageable ember. Around him, the med bay buzzed with controlled chaos, miners bandaged, corvettes crews triaging burns, Captain Vasquez coordinating with high command over a holographic table. The battle's afterglow lingered in every face, eyes bright with the thrill of survival, voices thick with stories of impossible shots and selfless saves. But Cole's mind wandered beyond the bulkheads, to the asteroid he'd tamed and the stars that had borne witness. Exhaustion pulled at him, yet defiance kept his eyes open. Humanity had stared into the abyss and blinked first, not out of weakness, but unbreakable will. The data crystal rested on his chest, its pulse now a steady rhythm syncing with the ship's engines. Glowstick's final transmission had warned of purist remnants rallying beyond the Kuiper Belt, a desperate flotilla of diehards unwilling to accept defeat. High Command's analysts projected their arrival in hours, a suicide swarm aimed at erasing the corruption of contact. Cole's hand closed around the crystal, its warmth a reminder of fragile bridges built in dust and fire. One more fight, he thought, internal conflict flaring briefly. Part of him yearned for the quiet of a new claim, away from legends and politics. But the miner in him, the one who'd clawed ore from void-kissed rock, knew retreat wasn't human. Faith anchored him. In the grand weave of creation, every trial forged purpose, every stand echoed eternity. Vasquez approached, her uniform torn but posture unbowed. "Anders, you're supposed to be resting. High Command wants you debriefed planetside medals, speeches, the works." She smirked. "Belt rat becomes first contact hero. Earth's gonna eat it up." Cole grunted, sitting up against the pane. "Speeches ain't my style, Cap. What's the play with the purists?" Her expression hardened. "Full fleet mobilization, but we're stretched. Casualties from the last scrap hit hard if they punch through." She trailed off, glancing at the tactical hollow, red icons massing like storm clouds. Cole's gaze sharpened. "Give me a shuttle and the mule's core data. I got an idea." Empathy surged for the Zorvath caught in the crossfire. Glowstick's ship trailed the fleet, a lone ally in alien seas. Humans didn't win alone, they united, innovated, extended hands across the void. Vasquez raised an eyebrow. "You're half dead, been worse." He swung his legs over the gurney's edge, steadying himself. Medics protested, but he waved them off. "Tell High Command, the miners got a mine for him." Hours blurred into preparation. Cole, patched but unbowed, piloted a reinforced shuttle back to asteroid 47 Kappa's orbit. The planetoid hung serene now, its surface scarred but stable, a testament to human grit. He'd uploaded the Iron Mule's seismic logs to the fleet, precise fracture maps, plasma flow models, charge yields. The plan was audacious, born of belt ingenuity: turn the asteroid into a gravitational kill zone. Guild haulers retrofitted with mining gear swarmed it like bees on a hive, embedding deep charges along fault lines. Corvettes seeded decoy drones, mimicking a vulnerable formation. Glowstick rendezvoused, its ship docking with the shuttle in a shimmer of fields. The alien leader entered, crest dimmed by fatigue. "Architect, this gambit risks all. Why persist?" Cole met its multifaceted gaze, or what passed for one. "Because quittin' ain't us. You taught me your logic, let me show you our heart." He shared the hollow plan, timed detonations to induce controlled fragmentation, creating a debris storm laced with plasma vents. Any fleet entering would face a shredder of their own making. The Zorvath's lights flickered in calculation, then acceptance. Unity in chaos. We lend our void torpedoes for amplification. As the trap set, Cole stood on the asteroid's surface one last time, mag boots planted amid the craters of battle. Miners worked nearby, their banter a defiant rhythm against the stars. He knelt, pressing a hand to the rock, cold, unyielding yet alive with the memory of fury tamed. "Thanks for holding together," he murmured. Overhead, the Milky Way arched like a cathedral vault, each star a quiet affirmation. This can't just be accident. The order of it all, the precise timing of cracks, the flow of plasma, felt like mercy engineered into the cosmos, justice delivered through human hands. Sensors screamed, purest fleet dropping from hyperspace, 100 vessels strong, their lances charging with vengeful light. Here they come, Vasquez broadcast. Anders in position, locked and loaded. Cole jetted to an observation perch, HUD linking to the fleet. The enemy surged forward, broadcasts thundering, purge the corrupt for the pure collective. Decoys drew them in, the debris field parting like a curtain. At the precise moment, calibrated to microseconds, detonations rippled. Asteroid 47 Kappa awoke in orchestrated wrath. Fissures erupted in synchronized plumes, fragments accelerating to hypersonic speeds. Plasma jets lanced out, superheating the storm into a maelstrom of molten death. Purest ships shredded, hulls crumpling, explosions chaining in cataclysmic beauty. Drones vaporized, cruisers split like overripe fruit. Cole watched, breath held, as the trap consumed wave after wave. Zorvath torpedoes, timed perfectly, ignited secondary blasts, turning the void into a forge of annihilation. Human corvettes fired opportunistic salvos, picking off stragglers. The purest flagship, a behemoth of crystalline spite, pressed coreward directly into the heart. Fire the kill shot, Cole ordered. Guild haulers unleashed overcharged mining lasers, boring into the flagship's core just as the asteroid's central vent peaked. The ship imploded, its reactor feeding the plasma surge in a supernova echo that lit the belt for minutes. Silence descended. Wreckage drifted in cooling clouds, the threat extinguished. Cheers flooded comms, human and Zorvath alike. Glowstick's voice rang clear. The warlord myth dies, the architect endures. Terra is ally eternal. Vasquez's shuttle collected coal, medics unnecessary now. Back aboard the Vanguard, he stood on the bridge as High Command connected. Admirals' faces filled screens, all replacing skepticism. Anders, you've secured peace, name your reward. Cole glanced at the miners gathered behind him, Tarek grinning, Ramirez saluting, then at Glowstick's projection. Just a new rig, and a promise we build together. No speeches, no fanfare, just the quiet victory of spirit over stars. As the fleet formed up for the journey home, Cole stepped to a viewport. Earth loomed distant, a blue jewel. The Zorvath delegation boarded for the long haul to Luna Base, alliances sealed in shared survival. Word spread like solar wind. One ordinary miner had spoken louder than governments, proving humanity's essence, courageous, creative, united. In the med bay later, alone with his thoughts, Cole fingered the crucifix pendant. Scars would heal, but the lesson etched deeper. Against overwhelming odds, human will prevail, not through perfection but relentless heart, subtle divine order turning desperation to triumph. The moral rang true. Sometimes one ordinary human speaks louder than governments. And as asteroid 47 Kappa receded, a monument to defiance, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, whispering of worlds, yet to welcome the unyielding children of Terra.